Hello and howdy, and welcome to Of Goths and Goblins, the show where we talk about monsters both real and imaginary. And we're here. I'm Mothman, but also DeLaney. That's the real shocker.
Yes.
Emma, please make a goblin noise. Delightful. Now, if you're listening to the audio version, you will be... You're already down.
I'm already down. Down for the count.
We made a panicked run to Walmart because the girl who had 3 onesies didn't have a single onesie.
I don't live here.
I know, I don't either, and I had a onesie.
Yeah, but you...
I bought this just for this. I don't actually
I bought
own
this
a
just for this.
Onesie. Yeah. But for those of you listening to the audio version, it might be a little funky because we are in a different recording area because, drumroll please, we are recording in Emma's basement, Emma's parents' basement.
Again.
But actually this time. Because we are attempting...
You look like Darth Sidious over there. Sorry, but interruption.
Strike me down! Anyway, because we are being exciting, and we are trying to be fancy and record a video version for this lovely holiday Halloween episode. So without further ado, let's get into that episode after we've been recording for 7 minutes.
Alright.
So today, as promised in the Krogcast countdown, which I stopped at about day 13, exactly day 13, because I have, what, Emma? Depression.
I mean, if you were going to stop on any day, the 13th is the day to do it.
Exactly. But we are going to be talking about Jack the Ripper.
Okay. Today we're talking about Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper. So the British have always been fascinated with criminals for some reason.
Because they're weird.
They are weird. I think it honestly started back with their Robin Hood things. They very much romanticized him and made him this courtly dude. And made him a prince in some versions too, but
why?
He robbed people.
Yeah, that takes kind of the whole kit and caboodle out of Robin Hood.
Yeah. They also did the same with pirates, like Blackbeard and whatnot. And the gentlemen robbers.
I was just about to say the
gentlemen robbers. But yes, the British, weird fascination with criminals.
They also have a weird fascination with death. Stop it!
Death.
Your stomach was excited about that. No, they have a weird fascination with death because, the London catacombs, they found a plague pit, which is just a pit of 14 to 42 bodies. I don't remember what number. It's got a 4 in it.
It's a wide range.
Yeah,
of bodies
it's got there's a bunch of bodies, and they went. You know what would be a fun way to commemorate these corpses we found? Building a haunted house.
Yes.
And we all just went, okay, Britain.
We all just kind of went with it. Honestly, you can't say you're much better.
Me? I'm not. Me? I'm not.
I can't either, I guess. But it doesn't matter.
We found 750 trackers collecting your personal data. It's true.
I have cookies turned on, so...
I don't think I ever accept cookies on websites unless it's you can't enter this website.
Yeah. But no. So, it doesn't really matter where England's interest with criminals came, but England does have what's considered the first serial killer. I mean, obviously, there were serial murderers before him, but he's the most famous, arguably. Oldest, most famous. But yes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of Jack the Ripper before DeLaney goes more into the conspiracies.
The whack theories.
Yes. So Jack the Ripper operated in the East End of London during 1888. It is one of the poorest parts of London during the time, and that's probably puts people more at risk, that's just part of it. But Jack the Ripper is credited with killing at least 5 women and mutilating their bodies, but there's a high probability that he killed more. Obviously, we know Jack the Ripper was never captured and never identified, and this remains one of...
Well...
We're not getting to that yet.
Well...
Well, just
love-
E.T. over here.
I love the finger extender so much.
No.
Anyway, we're talking about death and it's sad. I say with a smile on my face.
Yes. But supposedly he was never captured or killed, and it remains one of the world's most infamous crimes. So there are 5 victims that are generally attributed to the Ripper. The first is Mary Ann Nichols. She was also named Polly for some reason. What?
I'm keeping track.
Okay. I was
With
like,
my
what?
finger extender.
She was murdered August 3rd of 1888. All of these are in 1888. That's the year he was killed. The second is Annie Chapman, murdered September 8th. The third was Elizabeth Stride on September 30th. This one is debated because that same night there was another woman, Catherine Eddowes, that was also murdered. So they're a little uncertain if Elizabeth was also murdered by Jack the Ripper because she did not have the same mutilation marks on the bodies that the other Ripper victims had. But the other victim that is attributed to the Ripper is Mary Jane Kelly. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, I was putting my phone on Do Not Disturb mode, so I had to take my hands out the gloves.
Mary Jane Kelly was murdered on November 9th. She was also a little bit different from the other previous murders because she was killed in her own bedroom where the other women had been killed on the street. It's also not good because her upstairs neighbor had heard something that night. She didn't do anything, and then the next morning, police came and she was dead. Not good. Not good.
Well, none of it's good.
None of it's good, but like...
That was particularly unfortunate.
Yes. But it's believed that Jack the Ripper either strangled the women or hit them from behind to kill them. And then after the women had died, he would mutilate their bodies. He would remove organs from the bodies. I don't think he ever took them. He just like this. You're right. Are
we talking about the letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will talk about that a little bit, but not really.
Oh, I can talk about that.
Yeah, you can talk about that. Okay. But the point is the bodies were mutilated, and that is no good. What are you doing?
Good. I'm gonna real quick look up the letter, just so I can read it, because I know it. It's the From Hell letter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it is pretty. There is a high probability that Jack the Ripper would have had experience with a knife because the wounds were all pretty like clear and looked a lot like incisions. I'm just gonna wait for those to pass. And then it's also believed that he had knowledge of the organs and the body because he could make those cuts into the body without damaging other organs. But during the crimes, there were a number of letters that were allegedly sent by Jack the Ripper to the police that would taunt the officers about what he had done, and then it would also explain what he was planning on doing. But as I said before, there is a possibility of Jack the Ripper killing more than 5 people. For sure, it's a minimum of 4, but possibly as many as 11. And then, yes, possibly as many as 11. And today, people are still fascinated by Jack the Ripper. Like, they've come up with a bunch of conspiracy theories, and books and movies have been made. And then, actually, criminologists are everyone is interested in this case, and they've started using modern technology and science. I don't know why I did that. Science.
It's fun with it.
It's science to figure out more and like try to use DNA evidence and whatnot. But I'll let DeLaney take it from here and tell more about the conspiracies and read you one of the letters.
So, for starters, as Emma just said, I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the letters, but specifically the From Hell letter, which is one of the more famous letters. I think in total there were 10.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure 10.
Yeah, that 10 seems like the right number. There were 10 letters that were sent to the Scotland Yard.
Wikipedia says hundreds.
Yeah, Wikipedia says hundreds, but those are all claiming to be from the killer. But those could
Well,
be...
the first one, the 10, claims to be from the killer.
Yes, but they were all claims to be, whereas they were very different in writing style, but there are 10 that are all of the same.
Yes.
That we think are actually.
This is true, yes.
And so one of the most famous ones, which then made me make the face when Emma said he never took any trophies, was because in the From Hell letter, he claims to have taken and eaten half of a woman's kidney. Yes. I don't remember whose kidney.
That, I didn't write it down, but I'm not sure. I guess I'm not gonna say anything about that.
But so the From Hell letter, the reason we call it that is because it opens with From Hell. So this is essentially the letter. From Hell, Mr. Lusk. Sir, I send you half of the kidney I took from one woman, preserved for you. Together, it's spelled very incorrectly. There's a lot of misspellings, and so I'm reading it is in a typed up version that is misspelled also, and it's not helping with my dyslexia. Yes. So it's Mr. Lusk. Sir, I send you half the kidney I took from one woman, preserved it for you. Together, the other piece I fried and ate. It was very nice. I may send you the bloody knife that I took it out. The bloody knife that took it out, if only you wait a while longer. Signed, Catch Me If You Can, Mr. Lusk. And that's the From Hell letter, and that's one of the more famous letters.
Yep.
So, now, we're going to talk about some of the conspiracy theories and just general theories some people have as to the identity of the Ripper. I have this one first in my list, but I think I'm actually going to save it for last because I think it's the most exciting one, right? So, the first theory...
I gotta see what theory you're talking about.
No, you can't.
I just did.
I know. I respect you and don't look at your script.
Just because...
I also can't see past your microphone.
Well, now you can't see it because I closed it. Well, I already said it, so it doesn't matter.
I know. So, some people believe that Jack the Ripper could actually be the infamous serial killer H.H. Holmes. Mm-hmm. Because there are 13 eyewitness reports in Scotland Yard as of right now. And there is a compiled... sketch, like a police sketch of all of these eyewitness reports, and if you look at that picture, that drawing of what we think Jack the Ripper looked like based on these reports, it looks eerily similar to H.H. Holmes. I have a picture of it on my phone. You guys don't get to see it, but you can look it up. Emma, I just want to show you.
It'd be faster if I looked it up.
Oh no, I have the picture right here. I took a screenshot of a TikTok.
Looks like a basic white man with a mustache.
I know. They all look like basic white men with mustaches, and that's part of the hard part about criminal composite sketches. Like, if you look at the Zodiac composite sketch, it's like, well, every white man looked like that at the time.
Yeah, it's like you could do a stick man and it'd be like,
just
okay,
oh yeah, I've seen him before, yeah. No, but so the two pictures line up eerily similarly, even though every white man at the time looked like that. And H.H. Holmes, his trail... essentially went cold in America from 1888 to 1889, right? And it turns out, as a matter of fact, he was on a business trip in England, in Whitechapel.
That's suspicious.
That's weird. And so, as we know, 1888 to 1889 is the time of the Jack the Ripper murders. So, diaries found by Holmes's great-great-grandson claim that he was in England at the time, and that also he was traveling with a companion. And his great-great-grandson theorizes that this traveling companion was there to scope out victims for H.H. Holmes during the day so that he could operate at night and not be seen. And that's essentially where that theory... Most of these theories are based on circumstantial evidence. And there's not a lot of... there are a few of this that have DNA testing, and it's kind of exciting. But most of them are, well, if you squint, he's the murderer.
Yeah.
But also, it's H.H. Holmes.
It's been, almost 200 years since... Not almost. I guess maybe closer to 150. But, It's been a while since the
Yeah.
crimes happened, so it's hard to pin anything down.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, do we just want to see that it's H.H. Holmes because that's cool?
I mean, yeah.
It's one of those... Oh, anyway.
H.H. Holmes. He's a really creepy guy.
Yeah, he killed a bunch of people in America and committed a lot of tax fraud. That was a lot.
It's always the people that commit tax fraud.
Yes. That's what my dad always
embezzlement,
says.
too.
Never commit 2 crimes. Another theory is that Jack the Ripper was actually a man named George Chapman. He was a man who poisoned his wives. I think there were 3 of them, and he was a barber who lived in Whitechapel. And part of this whole theory is that many people believed that Jack the Ripper would have had to have been a barber or a surgeon barber. But
2.
it had to be someone with easy access to very sharp blades and someone who understood human anatomy, right?
Yes, but I mean, like, anyone
Anyone can
access
have
to
yes,
knives.
but that's one of the things where because the difference between those a very sharp knife and just a sharp knife is that something like a razor would be able to make clean cuts, whereas if you just had a knife, it would be kind of a rougher cut. And it's the same. It's like the difference between a scalpel can make clean cuts that aren't going to scar as badly as just like a random stab wound in an alleyway.
Got that rust on there.
Yeah, it had some flavor.
No.
It's not a stab wound if you don't get tetanus. If you're not,
No.
you haven't really been
No,
stabbed.
it's still
if
a
you don't-
stab wound.
You haven't really been stabbed if you never had tetanus. I've never had tetanus.
You haven't been stabbed.
You don't know my life.
You just said if you haven't had tetanus, you haven't been stabbed.
This
so
is true.
Then you haven't been stabbed.
Both things can be true, and they are. So, another theory is that a man named Aaron Kosminski, I did it right that time. Kosminski. I practiced that name. I don't usually practice the names. I practiced this
It's the
one.
Italian ones that mess me up.
Yeah, Italian is a weird, little bitty. That's not what they sound
No.
like, but it is. My posture, I just keep going.
I keep like slouching further,
Yeah.
and then I look and I'm like, oh, can the mic?
I glance
is
up
the
at the
mic
viewfinder.
blocking me?
Mine 100% is, but because it's right there. So
It's alright, it blends in with your whole Mothman.
you know, but then like,
I can only see the eyes.
it's
I think
Mothman.
they were-
That's the sound Mothman makes. He makes. We should do a Mothman episode.
That's your thing.
I know, me. But speaking of, just while we're here, we need to record another episode because this week is a posting week. But
I don't have anything.
I've got a Mothman.
Okay.
So, another theory is Aaron Kosminski, and he was a mentally ill barber. I put quotations around it because I don't know, but he was a mentally ill barber who was institutionalized at around the time that the murders stopped, right? And all of this would be fine and dandy, except for the fact that in 2019, this is the exciting part, in 2019, researchers found that there was DNA evidence on the shawl of, I think, Mary.
Mary was the last one.
Yeah. I think that's correct. On the shawl of potentially Mary, don't fact check that because it might be wrong, but they found DNA on it. And they decided to run a DNA test. And whose DNA did it match? Aaron Kosminski's.
100% match?
Yes. Because they teamed it up against one of Aaron Kosminski's, like, descendants. Right?
Me just off camera.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I've been doing that this whole time.
Descendants, yes.
But-
But that's not. Yeah.
Like I said, that's also a circumstantial thing because while not all of Jack the Ripper's victims were ladies of the night, right? They were working girls. Some of them were, right? And so Mary wasn't, I don't think. But also,
It's unknown.
Yeah.
She's one of the ones that people don't know a lot about.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that if she was, then it would
Could be an explanation.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, it is a pretty good pointer, and it would be exciting if we did find it. pardon. It's me, I'm the problem now. But it would be exciting if we did find the identity, but you can't really after all this time. It's the same with the Zodiac. It's like we've solved the ciphers, so most of them, not all of them yet, but at the same time, we can't know for certain because the Zodiac killer is probably dead at this point.
Dead. Deceased.
He's either dead or in his late 90s, and so he's on his way out. So another theory is not so much a theory as to who the murderer is, but just a theory in general that some people have, and it's that the women who were murdered at the time weren't awake during the moments of murder, right? Because, right, this is 1888. This is 1800s London. These are working girls, most of them, but they're still like lower class, so they're gruff, they're tumble, they know how to hold their own, and a lot of the bodies that they found didn't really show signs of a struggle, right? There were no, but also it's 1888.
Some of them did though.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things where it's like some of them didn't, but some of them did, and so there's a theory that like, well, the women weren't awake at the time of the murders, so it's okay. I was like, bet. That's just one that I found. Most of these aren't ones I think are believable, but they're ones that I found, and I went, okay.
That's a good one to know.
Yeah. I keep looking at myself in the TV's reflection and not at the...
What does that say? Movie stopped.
I cleared up so much space. I deleted so many photos.
It's that first 5 minutes really fucked us over.
Yeah, it's not like I'm
could have been done.
This is not like I'm just gonna sit here and talk for 10 more minutes. Nice tampon.
Thanks.
I just keep noticing it. The maximum recording time has been reached. The fuck?
Well, it's been over half an hour. Why am I doing that? I was like, it's been over half an hour.
Just watching? Okay. We just gotta...
Just gotta put it together or start
I'm
over.
Just gonna figure out when it stopped. Put like the spinning guys up there for...
It was pretty recent.
Yeah. Anyway, I keep looking at myself in the reflection of the TV and not in the viewfinder. Anyway, what was I talking about? Ah, Jesus. Thank you. You're right. Marker, you're right.
Oh, wait. Just cut to...
mine was singing out there, too. Oh.
We had technical difficulties.
We had some technical difficulties.
Again.
We had some technical difficulties.
I'm not drunk. Why am I talking strange?
I know. You always...
It's the nerves.
Something about recording just changes you.
Yeah.
You're a different person when you record.
Just a different person. I don't recognize you.
I don't recognize you anymore.
Call me Barbara.
Call me Barbara. Okay, anyway, we're talking about horrible murders.
Yes, it's horrible.
There's also a theory that the Jack the Ripper murders never actually even happened, which is... But essentially what they say is that the Ripper story was fabricated by royalty to take attention away from the birth of a bastard child who was the child of one of the dukes. And so it was created and put into the media. There are two sub-theories, that they never actually happened or that they were staged by the royalty, right? But we have nothing to prove of that. It might have just been a lot of this is just correlation and not causation, right? So now we're getting to the theory of the hour, which is the one that I find to be delightful and fun. And that is that Jack the Ripper was actually a woman. So instead of Jack the Ripper, we got Jill the Ripper.
Jill.
Jillian. So this is essentially a theory that states that Jack the Ripper was a woman, and it would make a lot of sense. Because if you think about it, at the time there would be a lot of midwives walking around. People who essentially would help women give birth, right? So this midwife theory would make a lot of sense because a woman walking around the streets of London at night covered in blood could be easily explained away with, oh, I just helped this woman give birth, and it was a rough delivery, so I'm covered in baby blood. But not like baby blood, but like the blood created from giving birth. There we go, that's nicer.
It's just blood.
When you bleed a lot when you give birth, and it's terrifying. Anyway.
In case you didn't know.
I will never have a child.
No. Never.
Never intentionally.
Your child's gonna find this in 20 years. Like,
yeah, Wednesday. I'm sorry, Wednesday.
I thought it was mayonnaise.
Shut up about mayonnaise. That was like 6 years
You're
ago.
the one who wanted to call a child mayonnaise.
Because it was funny. Name a child mayonnaise. Call her May the rest of her life, and she'll never know that her name is mayonnaise.
Well, I guess my brother doesn't know how to spell his middle name, and he's 20 years old.
Listen, I don't know how to spell my middle names, but my middle names are spelled weird. But also, I never have to spell out my middle names. Usually, if it's on like a form, it's RC.
Mm.
So it's like, I'm RC.
RC car.
RC Cola. So, another theory going off of the Jill the Ripper theory, other than the midwife, is that Jack the Ripper was actually a woman named Mary Percy.
Mm-hmm.
I've also heard it being Percy, but
Percy.
or Percy, but I like Percy because it looks like Percy. So this is a woman who was tried.
She was
tried and executed for the murder of her husband, his lover, and their baby. So essentially, she was a midwife as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she found out that her husband was having an affair with another woman and that they had a child together, she murdered the two, she mutilated the woman's body, and she smothered the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so a lot of people are saying, okay. But once again, this is one of those things where she was tried and executed, but when she was executed, it was about 2 months after the last reported killing.
Mm.
And so it's one of those things where it's, okay, is that just a woman who was killed and separately they stopped? Or was she stopped? Because if Criminal Minds has taught me anything, killers don't stop unless they are stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those things. And those are a few of the theories that I've seen. And I thought they were nifty. And I'm just gonna real quick plug a movie that I really like. It's Batman, Gotham by Gaslight. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because it essentially is a...
This is gonna be through the whole thing.
I know. It's essentially a Batman animated movie where it's... I'm not the hero that Gotham needs, but I'm the one it deserves. Or is that the other way around? Is it I'm not the one they deserve, but the one they need?
I don't know. I don't watch Batman.
Listen.
I watch Marvel.
Fine, I'll say it the other way too, just in case. I'm not the hero that Gotham deserves, but I'm the one that it needs. I'm getting better at making screamo sounds, by the way. Just a side note.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I sing a lot of Rob Zombie in the car.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have.
Yeah.
Is that everything you have?
Got conspiracies. We got what actually happened. What actually
happened? Who
done it?
Who done it?
What
Who
do
did
it do?
So what of these theories do you believe more? You don't have to pick a final answer, but of all of them.
Honestly, none of. I don't. Like, if I had to choose, I'd probably do the H.H. Holmes one, just because. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't. All of it's one of the. It's this thing where it's like they're all equally feasible and unfeasible at the same time. Because it's 1888. You know.
It's a long time ago.
It's a long ass time ago. So.
What else happened in 1888? Nothing. Just the murders. Why are you looking at your wrist?
Because I'm checking what else happened in 1888.
Are you a time traveler?
Yeah. I just
Lies.
Yeah, I'm secretly the 13th Doctor. It's a Doctor Who joke.
I was hoping my neck would crack, but it didn't. There, I cracked my knuckle.
Anyway, Sorry. I remember something that I wrote on Tumblr in 8th grade, and
really, really telling everything about yourself tonight. Mayonnaise, Tumblr.
Look at me, Emma. I think this shows them everything they need to know. Anyway, so I once upon a time in 8th grade read this really long Tumblr post.
You're just making it worse for yourself.
I once upon a time read this really long Tumblr post, and it was really exciting because it was here's a movie idea for a Jack the Ripper movie. And it was, okay, what? And it was, well, Jack the Ripper is a serial killer, and we all know this. And so, my head is cold now. Why did you do this to me?
Because you could put it back.
No, I can't. No. Don't fix it. I want to suffer. I deserve to suffer. Anyway, and so it's the whole thing of like, well, killers don't stop unless they're stopped. So someone killed Jack the Ripper, but it was secretly a group of vigilante prostitutes. And that's all. That's it. That was the show. That was their show theory. Anyway. Thank you for listening to Goths and Goblins. Please remember to rate and review us on Apple iTunes, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out, if you're listening to the audio version, check out this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
We've got a video. You can see our faces and our Mothman costume and the panically bought unicorn onesie that we bought at Walmart 5 minutes from when they closed. We bought it at closing time. I felt terrible.
We were out before close.
Yeah, we were out at close. It was 11 o'clock.
There were still people who were in there.
I know, but we weren't. So
we weren't. I'm so sorry, Walmart employees.
I'm sorry, Walmart greeter. Hi, welcome to Walmart. I feel bad for making fun of him, but also I miss that he doesn't. I miss that he doesn't do that anymore.
Probably because people made fun of him.
I never made fun of him to his face. I'm not that mean. I just made fun of him to my friends and you. Because it was fun.
Am I not included in Friends?
No! You're like, yeah, this is a peek behind the curtain. We're not really friends in real life. This is just a show relationship, you know? Yeah, what's on this table?
Your mom.
Got him! See, what is... Ew, don't touch it.
It's gone. Where did it go?
It went up your butt. Ew.
That's my mole.
You have a mole on your finger?
Yeah.
How is this the first time seeing this?
Are you kidding? I've told you about this mole so many times.
I've never seen this mole in my entire life.
No, because remember, it's the one I thought was chocolate once, so I bit my finger.
Is that what it was?
That's what
I thought it was the one that was like down here.
What, you think I'm just gnawing on my wrist?
Yes!
No, it's my finger.
Anyway, please remember to rate and review us on Apple iTunes and podcasts. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see this hot mess of a video.
Yes.
You can see our faces, my Mothman costume, and this unicorn onesie. Mostly her hair, though.
Yeah, kind of.
We have a TikTok and an Instagram. It's of Goths and Goblins, just like that. All one word, no spaces or capital letters. Maybe capital letters, but you'll find it anyway. It's the one with the dragon and the bat.
Yes. And the chess piece.
And the chess piece! I don't think the bat's holding anything.
No.
He doesn't have hands, and it's sad. I petition to give bats hands. Anyway.
I got a little claw.
Please visit my petition, GoFundMe.com, to give all bats hands.
Give them those tiny hands.
Yeah, give them the tiny hands. They can't move them, but they can hold things.
Yeah. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
This needs to wrap up.
Yes. Where was I? iTunes, GoFundMe, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
You've been lovely, and remember... Because that's the sound that Mothman makes.